Would you like to get more from AdGuard? Are you interested in only having one console to monitor? Well, stay tuned and I'll show you how to do this using AdGuard, HomeAssistant, and Unraid. Welcome to another edition of Tech Bites with Ron Nutter, your home for all things relating to smart home technology. In this episode, we're going to talk about how to manage AdGuard using HomeAssistant and Unraid. Hi, I'm Ron Nutter, and we're going to be working on this together. This content is also available as an Amazon Flash briefing or podcast. Please go to techbiteswithronnutter.com for more information. For any items mentioned in this episode, there are affiliate links in the description. If you click on these links, I will get a small commission, but that won't affect the price you pay for the item. If you want to get notified when new content is uploaded, please click on subscribe and enable notifications. Now here's what we're going to be covering in this video, and that's managing AdGuard Home with HomeAssistant and Unraid. First, what is AdGuard Home? If you haven't heard it before, trust me, you'll want to learn about this one. We'll talk about the required items, most of which you should already have at this point. We'll talk about connecting AdGuard Home to HomeAssistant and then configuring it, and there's a lot that you can do. If you haven't heard of AdGuard Home, check out this video, the link you're going to see right here. That goes into more detail on getting it up and running. Because if you don't have it up and running, even if you already have Pi-hole up and running, AdGuard's something you want to take a look at because it has a different take on things, and I think you'd be very happy with it. It's very easy to do, and especially if you've got Unraid up and going, you're going to have a lot of fun getting this thing up and running and figuring out how it's going to best help you. Let's move over here. This is the interface that you're going to get with AdGuard. Again, in the video that you've had to link up here for, you're going to get more into the details of getting it configured and up and running. But as with anything in your smart home, you've got now one more interface or one more console that you've got to go look at. This is where Unraid and having Docker and having HomeAssistant makes it a little more manageable for you. Because I know I found myself gravitating a lot more towards HomeAssistant in the weeks that I've started using it, because now I've got one single interface to do a majority, not everything, but a majority of what I want to do. Before we start the installation, we need to go over the required items. Number one, for this video, I'm going to assume that you've already got Unraid up and running. And if you want to put HomeAssistant on a dedicated system, that's up to you. But you're going to need to have HomeAssistant up and running at a minimum. And then you're going to need to have your AdGuard server already up and running and have it running probably for a couple of days. You don't want to try to do this all at once, because it's in case something doesn't work right, then you'll be trying to figure out where the problem is. So this is going to be the easiest way to do it. Just first get AdGuard up, then do HomeAssistant, whether it's on top of Unraid or if you want a dedicated box. But I've had it running on top of my Unraid server and have noticed minimal overhead. So really it's a win-win situation. You don't have to tie up yet another box or system to get this up and running. When you're setting up that new account for the smart home cloud service or device, please get a copy of my smart home device account checklist you see here on the screen. This will help make sure that everything gets written down that you entered to get that account created. The form will also serve as a backup copy when you get this entered into your password manager app. And if you're not already using a password manager app, please get one now and get started. You will be subscribed to my email list in exchange for the checklist. I won't share, rent, or sell your information to anyone. If your HomeAssistant server has automatically discovered AdGuard, you'll see an icon very much like this, but with the configure button. Now see, I've already got mine up and running. So you would see configure down here where I don't. Now, if you don't see that, all is not lost, because as long as everything's up and running, you should be able to get it in place. So we'll go down here to click integration, and you notice that AdGuard Home is here. So we can start the process here. You'll need to give it the port number to go to, your user credentials. I deselected SSL certificate because I'm not using one at this point. Don't send me any hate mail. That's just an option I've not decided to go with at this point. So you want to uncheck both of those, click submit, and then very shortly your icon should revert to something like this. You'll see one service and the 14 entities. And the 14 entities are everything that you can get out of AdGuard Home. If you want to take another approach to this, if you don't see the icon and you're not quite sure how to proceed to the next one, you can go to home-assistant.io/integrations and look for AdGuard. And then you can click the add integration here. Now you'll want to do this on the same system that you've got your HomeAssistant interface up on. Then it'll handle all the setup for you and you'll be ready to go in just a few minutes. In terms of configuring AdGuard, if you use the option that I mentioned earlier where you go into the integrations option on the Home Assistant website and click Add Integrations, you should expect to see something like this on your main page. It gets you up and running and at least gets you familiar with how things are working. But this is not your only way to do it. So if we go over here and we'll click on the 3 vertical dots, and we'll go to Edit Dashboard. I'm going to click on the plus sign, and for title, I'll just call it AdGuard. If I can spell here, click Save. See, now we've got a whole fresh canvas to work with. So we'll just click on Add a Card, and there's several things you can look at. The entities card or multiple entities is where I'm going to organize the different options that are settings related. So we'll go down here, and this will take a little bit of time to set up, but not anything horrible. So where it says switch, these are the ones that we'll want to go through and put on their own page. And that way your settings ones will be very easy to distinguish. You're not going to have to go through line by line. And we'll just go down here, and we've got parental control, AdGuard protection. To see at this point, we've technically used up the 3 entries. Well, all you do is click the entity line down here. And then as we go through here, we can pick up the remaining options. And there's not a right or wrong way to do this, but what I'm trying to move towards is having the settings options in one pane. And that way I'm not having to go through the different reporting features that are there. So what we can do now is we'll go down here to Add Card, and we can go look at gauges. Had to look at some things here. Now we can look at DNS queries, and that shows you what's there. But now that one's not one I would use a gauge for. So if we go down here to DNS queries blocked ratio, that's going to be a good one to have as a gauge, because then you can see what you're looking at for as how much of the traffic it's blocking. And then we can go look at safe browsing blocked. It's not reporting back on that one. Well, it will. There's nothing for it to report. But if we go down here, looks like now with the AdGuard, it's sorted everything up here, which is good. And processing speed. Okay, that's another good one to have, because you can see what kind of possible lag AdGuard may be introducing. But that gives you a very good way to look at things. And then we can actually go through here then. And if we want to do glance, we'll go down here and pick up the AdGuard ones. And some of them will be a little easier to pick out, because you can see the AdGuard logo to the left. And if it's something you're not using a lot of, then you can always use the glance card to make things a little easier to find, but you're not going to have to dig through as much to get to it. And you can see that sometimes you got to do a little bit of digging around here and click Save. And you can always move these cards around. And once you're through, let me take my ugly mug off the screen here. Once you're through adding the cards, then you can click on X on Home, and then this will give you, this is a good stat screen. Like I said, I've selected things here that I'm not using at this point. So if they start popping up, I know that something maybe you've gotten flipped over here. And that way you can have a screen that is just AdGuard related, and then you can move the things you're going to be using the most over here. So this is one advantage of having the different views available in Home Assistant, because you can drill down and have just what you want to. And if you decide that this one over here is not one that you want to keep, you can just click on Edit Dashboard, and then we can move to View, and we'll say Move to AdGuard. Okay, that one now has been moved over to AdGuard, and we can sit there and move or duplicate card. Okay, and we'll just make that a duplicate. That's fine. And then we can go over here and move to View, Home. And then if we go over here to Home, then we've got that. So and then we can move it around a little bit. Didn't mean to click that one. So you can make things a little bit easier to look at, easier to sort. So you have just kind of like your home screen could be like a reporting screen, a summary of what's going on, and only things like the lights do I put on the home screen. So that way, that's the first thing I can come to. I don't have to do a lot of moving around. But you can see where this has the potential to go, and really your imagination and what configuration options are there are going to be the only things that are going to limit you, because there's a lot you can do. And in a future video, we're also going to look at the Home Assistant smartphone app, and then you can see kind of why you want to arrange things a certain way and maybe have the different tabs, because this is going to be another way to make it easy to work with, so you don't always have to go to a desktop to get things up and running. If you're watching this on YouTube, you will see videos on the screen that are similar to the one you've just watched or other content that YouTube thinks you might be interested in. If this video helps you or provides value, please click on that like button, thumbs up. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please click on subscribe now and enable notifications. We'll see you in the next episode. Thanks for watching.